Everyone, thank you for joining this class. My name is Ezekiel. So, I want us to look at a very important concept in geography and in urban planning also. And the concept is spatial interaction. So, spatial interaction, as postulated by Ullman. So, the it's just a concept that talks about why people, goods, and idea moves across space. Why do people travel from one area to another area? Why do Mr. A travel from here to here? Why do goods moves? Why why do ideas also travels? Why they really matters? So that's just an economic geography concepts that we want to look at. So the core objective of the study is to understand or we define spatial interaction, explain foundational conditions, apply gravity model, and we also look at the limitation of the model. So we look at geography as the study of flows, not just static places, movement of people, goods, services, or information between two or more places. So look at it between two or more places. A student from home going to destination, which is a campus. Then a trader from origin to a place. So a trader transporting produce from farm to market. So a text message traveling between networks in different cities. So, and these are driven by origin, destination, and distance. That is the spatial interaction model. They are driven by origin, destination, and distance between them. So, for movement or for interaction to exist between two area, something there must be three conditions to be met. Three conditions must be met for such to happen. Movement require a supply and demand asymmetry. In economics, we all know this the concept of demand and supply. So condition number one is complementarity. One place must need a surplus. One place must have a surplus of resource. Another must have a need for it. So and we have a diagram here that is showing that Nigeria has a very good amount of crude oil or last crude oil. So, and there is a demand here in Germany. They have the capacity to refine, and we have the resources. So, what happens? The resources move after mining from this location to this location because there is surplus here and there is need here. So complementarity. Each of the area must have something. I mean, one area must have what another area doesn't have. If both of them have or are, so there is no need for interaction. Now, without this fundamental imbalance, there is no incentive to interact. Of course, without need and supply, there's no reason for interaction. Closer alternative intercept potential interaction. That's condition number two. Intervening opportunity. That's another condition. So, what does this intervening opportunity mean? It means now look at this chart. This chart is showing something very crucial. This is Lagos. Lagos is in demand of, let's say, a certain workforce that presently they don't have. And they got to know that there is a supply here in Kano of that workforce that they don't have here in Lagos. Meanwhile, there is also what a supply here. I mean, there's a surplus of that what of that service of that labor here in Ibadan. This is a close alternative. Instead of traveling to Lagos, that's what we call intervening opportunity. Ibadan has become an intervening opportunity. So they don't need to travel much. What the implication is that Lagos will be able to save cost on transport. They will be able to save time they travel and the distance they will need to cover. So people and business generally seek to minimize travel cost and also effort. The more you travel, the more effort you put in place. Then the third one is transferability. How transferable is it? What you want? The value of the exchange must outweigh the cost of the movement. What you want, let's say you want to go and get something in here. Let's say this is my Lagos now, and this is Akure. You want to get something that worth 100,000, but in the process of transferring, you will need 150,000. The product itself is 100,000. You will discover that there will not be what? There will not be movement. Because of what? You have count your cost is not reasonable. 100,000, but the transportation cost is what? Is so movement also it must be physically and economically capable of being moved. What you want to get must be economically. Physically, can it be moved out? Economically, is it something you have the capacity or you can afford? Economically capable of being moved. That is the value of what you are moving must outweigh the cost of the movement. If it is not, then you might count it as lost by the time you get it. So interaction multiply with mass but decay exponentially with distance. By the time mass or population of both locations proportional now let me just explain this for us. When the distance increases, interaction reduces. That's just the basic of what we are talking about here. Interaction, it decreases. Now, look at it. Look at this chart. Why proximity often matter more than sheer size? Now, look at it. Look at city A, population is 2 million. The distance from here to here is just 100 kilometer. Now, from A to B, what is the distance? The distance is what? 200 kilometer. You will look at interaction will exist between C and A. You see the interaction. The interaction will be more from here to here compared to here. The only time where there will be need from here, there will be need for city A to interact with city B is because there is no availability of what city A needs in C, and vice versa for all of them. So now space is not neutral. Overcoming it require effort and cost. Distance decay. The intensity of interaction decline as distance increases. Look at it from here to here. From here, look at the curve. It is diminishing. Interaction. This is interaction curve. You see, interaction is diminishing. Is diminishing as distance increases. Now, technology has actually reduces this. However, it hasn't eradicated it. Because you have car does not mean you should be traveling far to get something you can get near because of the cost of fueling your car, the wear and tears, even by the time you move to a long distance, even your strength while you drive, the fatigue and every other stuff, the implications. So we so interaction models are essential tools across diverse industry. This model is very, very crucial. Let me tell you something. Forecasting travel demand and citing new transit corridor. You can forecast where are people going from this area, where are they going? Now by the time you see an influx of people traveling from Akure and you see them along a corridor, you can go and site a new garage there. Retail geography, defining trade boundaries to cite new stores. Yeah, you look at trade, boundaries. Let's say here they are producing, and let's say here they are producing. At another point, there is another what location. There are people here. People are residing here. Then the area of industry is here. You can come here, bridge the gap, set up your industry in the middle, and it will actually help. In public health, modeling disease diffusion and contagious along connected pathways and a lot of things. Then this model are physical. Now number models are descriptive to not perfect reflection. The one thing about human being is model cannot explain all our interaction, all our activities. Human aren't particles, so models ignore culture. There are some things that you want to do. People will travel far because of culture, their history, and also irrationality. People just do things sometimes the way they like. Population is crude, weight or infrastructure often matter most than attraction. People can travel far for what they need. Forget about attraction or whatever. So I want to move on. So summary, the dynamics of spatial movement. It explains interaction is driven by mass, distance, and specific location attributes. Movement require complementarity, transferability, and a lack of intervening opportunity. There must be a lack of this for interaction to actually exist. Different flows, people, goods, data experience distant decay at different rates. So you can look at this and just consolidate your understanding, apply this. Well, thank you for joining me in this class. I would like you to join more. If you enjoy this, subscribe and ensure that you share with others. Thank you so much.